before the colonoscopy, before I started to prepare for the colonoscopy on the 20th, then my bowels were pretty good. They were pretty good consistency that I like, pretty good viscosity. So it wasn't constipation, but it wasn't diarrhea either. So it was pretty good. I felt pretty good about my bowel, my stool. So it was all working out just fine. And then I started to take that Trilite, and then it started to be, then it was pretty much all diarrhea from that point until my colonoscopy. And then I had my colonoscopy, and then on the 20, I had my colonoscopy on the 21st, because the 20th I had to go another round with that Trilite stuff, so that my diarrhea, or so that I would clean out my bowels totally, so that they could look in my colon with the camera and the light without any difficulty, without having any stool in the way or anything like that. So they found a little ulcer in there, and I guess people get ulcers that are anorexic also. They get ulcers in their throat because they use their finger to stick down their throat to make themselves throw up, and so they irritate it. They irritate their throat, and so it causes an ulcer. And I thought ulcers were just caves or something further, or like concave, but I guess they can be like a scar also. So an anorexic person is causing a scar or causing an ulcer in their throat, and a lot of times what the anorexic person does is they die not because they didn't eat enough, but they die because they can't get any food past that area in their throat, or they cannot breathe or something like that in their throat, and from the ulcer gets so large, and that's how they died that way. But anyway, I got an ulcer in my colon somewhere. I think probably around the end of the colon, near the anus, and I'm still waiting on results. I probably need to call them to find out what's going on, how it went, what do I need to do about the ulcer situation. But anyway, after that, then after the colonoscopy was done and the procedure and all that stuff, then I had a burger. We went to this burger joint with my mom, with my wife, and my father-in-law, and after that, then I started drinking water, very, very, very tiny amounts, just maybe a couple ounces a day, because I still had the Trilite in my system, and so whenever I drank anything, then it would go in one end and out the other in the form of diarrhea. So it was still a pretty bad situation with the stool, in the bowels, and it was that way with I was still having the diarrhea for a few days. For about 5 days, I had the constipation, for about 5 days after the colonoscopy, then I had diarrhea. Until I finally got all that Trilite out of my system, and then once I got all that diarrhea and stuff like that out of my system, then I was compacted. Then I was constipated. And so after that, that was, I want to say, on the 27th or the 28th of January 2014, and I started to be constipated. So about 5 days after my colonoscopy, then I started to go from diarrhea to constipation. So I started to have constipation. And so I had constipation for a long time. From the 27th of January until yesterday, which was the 5th of February 2014, then my stool started to be at a consistency that I liked. It wasn't diarrhea, but it wasn't constipation at the same time. So it was a nice consistency. So, bowel movement, a really good bowel movement is, as you get older, that's one of the highlights of your life. So anyway, after after the decent bowel movement, it just took a long time for the constipation to finally end and start to get back on a regular stool activity that I'm okay with, not diarrhea and not constipation. So it's nice consistency, brown, good stuff. And the only way that I was able to get that constipation to go away was, first, I started to drink a bunch of water. Of course, that's the best thing that you can do. The second, that didn't help. I still had the constipation for, pretty bad. I could still go, but it was like pulling out rocks. It wasn't good. I didn't like it at all. And then I tried for one day of just drinking a bunch of water, and that didn't work out. I still had the constipation pretty heavily. And then the next day, then I started to eat vegetables. So the next day I was having water and vegetables, which green beans. Green beans usually really get me going. And on top of the green vegetables, then I would also have mixed vegetables and sometimes green peas in there. And that was on the second day of the constipation. And on the third day, then nothing happened. I still had the constipation problem. So on the third day, then I started to eat frijoles, or beans, refried beans, because sometimes that helps out with the constipation too. And so I was drinking water. I was eating green beans, green mixed vegetables, green peas, and I was eating refried beans. Also, I ate a serving of that. And the fourth day came, and I still had constipation problems. I still, I could go, but it was, like I said, it was like pulling out rocks. It was very difficult. It was bad. It's like going like a goat, going to the restroom like a goat. But with little pebbles and stuff like that. And then the fifth day, then I drank the water. I had green beans again, and the mixed vegetables and the peas, and then I had refried beans, and then on top of that, then I had a banana, because sometimes a banana gets my bowels moving too, which is kind of interesting because bananas are supposed to get you to go the other way, but my system is kind of weird. So anyway, so the sixth day came, and I was still having the constipation. I couldn't, nothing was happening still. So on that day, I drank the water, I drank the green beans, I had the mixed vegetables peas, I had the refried beans, I had a banana, and then on top of that, then um, I had some oatmeal, and sometimes oatmeal helps out too with the bowel movement. So I had oatmeal, but it had chocolate chips in it, so it was kind of good and kind of bad and kind of sinful at the same time. Um, so I got all these things in my body to try and get that constipation to go away. And so I come out the next day and I do my digital stimulation, and I'm still constipated. So on the 8th day, then, well, I'm not constipated. I can go, but like I said, it's like pulling out rocks, so it's not, I don't like it. I don't like the consistency at all. I don't like the viscosity of my stool. So anyway, on the 8th day, then I drank the water. I drank a ton of water. I had the green vegetables. I had the green beans, the green peas, mixed vegetables. I had some beans, some refried beans. I had some a banana. Um, then I also had some oatmeal, and then on top of that, then I had an orange. I ate an orange because sometimes if you eat a bunch of fruit, it gets things going. If you eat a bunch of fruit and a bunch of vegetables, then it gets your bowel movement going good, and going to the consistency that you like. The stool viscosity that you're okay with, that you're acceptable with. And then I tried on the 9th day, to do the digital stimulation, and it's still nothing. It was still pretty compacted. It was still pulling out rocks whenever I was doing the digital stimulation. So after that, on the 9th day, then I drank the water. I had the green peas, I had the green beans, I had the mixed vegetables, I had the refried beans, I had the oatmeal with chocolate chips on it, I had the banana, I had the orange, I had a whole orange. And it's funny because sometimes you would think with all the acidity of like citrus fruit that it would cause constipation, but it doesn't cause constipation. Actually, it does the opposite. From what I heard, is it causes that diarrhea, and that's one of the things that I had a long time ago was diarrhea problem, and that was because I ate too much oranges. But anyway, so with all those things, with the oranges, and then so I had the water, the green peas, the green beans, the mixed vegetables, the refried beans, the oatmeal with chocolate chips, the banana, and and oranges, and finally on the 10th day, then I started to not have constipation anymore. So it was all of those things that caused me